You mentioned educational changes that need to happen. There's a great podcast for those not aware of it. It's called the School Sucks Podcast. So just Google that and you'll get tons of episodes on the nature of the ills of government schooling and needing to get rid of it entirely, basically. The question I have about the magic bullet, how to change things fundamentally in this culture, in terms of activism, basically, I think can be done in one phrase: don't comply. Now, why do you suppose Ayn Rand didn't advocate disobedience en masse? I mean, obviously, if a certain percentage of the population did not comply, all the schemes of government would not work. It would unravel, basically.
Yeah, but you have to have a very large percentage of the population doing it. So yes, the civil rights movement worked with civil disobedience for a number of reasons. One, it was a very large movement. We're much, much smaller than they were. Two, they had morality on their side, and big, large segments of the population viewed that they had morality on their side. That is, the Southern racists were viewed as the bad guys. If you today say, I'm not going to pay taxes, I'm not going to pay taxes, it's going to practice theft, right? 95% of Americans would think you're a nut. They would. And you would not get, you'd get nowhere. You'd go to jail, and that would be it. Even if you could get 5% of the population, which is a huge number, right? What's that? 330 million, 10%, 30, 15 million people not to pay their taxes. The rest of the country would look at us and say, you guys are just, and we don't have 15 million, believe me. The rest of the country would look at us and say, those guys are nuts, and it's completely immoral. By what right won't they pay taxes? Their fair share. So we have to convince the country that our civil disobedience, if we ever engage in it, is just, is right, that justice is on our side. Otherwise, all you do is land yourself up in jail or in whatever other hellhole the authorities want to put you in. And you've done nothing to actually promote your cause, other than, I think to some extent, discredit it, because people will view it as just nutty.
Isn't it important to strike the root in terms of the myth of representative government, that people supposedly represent you and your interests when you have no interest in it whatsoever?
People don't believe in representative government. People believe in democracy. Democracy says that if 51% of my neighbors want to knock down my house and build a tennis court, that's okay. And Americans agree with that. That's Roe versus Wade, right? So there is no, people have lost the idea of representational government. Today, we believe that we're a democracy, and we believe democracy is good. And civil disobedience doesn't work in a democracy. It achieves nothing, right? Because as long as the majority opposes you, they're right and you're wrong. So you're assuming far more on the part of the American people than what they really have in terms of ideas, and it just won't work. It's impractical, and therefore, I think it is wrong, because I think it hurts your own life with no real achievement on the other side. You've got to educate, you've got to teach them that morality is on our side, and until they get that morality is on our side, that we are the moral party, civil disobedience just doesn't work. It won't do anything.
So you think they see taxation as voluntary, or expulsion?
No, they see taxation as force, and that's a good thing.
Force is good.
I don't think anybody out there in the culture has any problem with force.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Why else do we have?
I mean, why do we have taxes? Nobody thinks it's voluntary. Nobody thinks it's voluntary. Well, I don't want to get into a long debate because there's a long time behind.
They believe government is good, and government itself is.
They think government is good, and they think taxes are good because it's okay to take from some. They think Robin Hood is the ideal, right? Take from the rich and give to the poor. And he steals it. He's not pretending that it's voluntary. They don't think that's a bad thing.
Do you yourself think that government is a necessary evil or an unnecessary evil?
I think government is a necessary, what's the opposite of evil? Good.
And that's the problem.